Hello, this is Lauren Tracy with X Factor Filmmakers. It's Thursday night, and this is week 3 of my Reluctant Filmmaker vlog. It's called that because my producers have successfully convinced me to put myself in front of the camera instead of behind it, where I usually feel most comfortable. But I think it's kind of awesome because I get to vent about what's going on and tell you guys what I'm excited about. So you can hear all about building X Factor Filmmakers, our studio focused on badass female entertainment, and writing and directing my first feature film, Sweet Desert Palm. So let's get to that. First, I want to tell you guys about the stuff that I consumed this week. I saw Nightcrawler in the theaters, which is Jake Gyllenhaal's new thriller, which I thought was really creepy, amazingly written, super well acted. My dad and I saw it at a matinee on Tuesday, so the theater was empty, which made it even more creepy. Don't let that fool you though, because the movie is doing well at the box office, so it's great. It's getting good reviews, and if you like dark downward spiraling psychological dramas and thrillers, and this one's definitely for you. Another thing I watched online was a movie from 2011 called Attack the Block. I'd never heard of this. I somehow stumbled across a trailer for it, and it's basically a teen British alien revenge movie, I guess is how I would call it. It was from the producers of Shaun of the Dead, I believe, but it's much more indie than that and has a lot of unknown teens in it who are super fun to watch and are major characters, and the jokes were really great, and I was scared and I was laughing, and it was pretty awesome, so you should check that out. And then the other thing I'm watching right now is America's Next Top Model Cycle 11, because for some reason the world of amateur modeling just like really makes me intrigued. I find it a really interesting process. And that's just a fun kind of binge watching show. Yeah, let's see. Oh yeah, also, my god, Interstellar comes out today. Its official release is tomorrow, but it's coming out today in some places, including here in Boston. And what I'm really excited about is the fact that you can watch it 3 different ways. There are 3 different choices that I see on Fandango for my local theater in Boston. One of them is just watching Interstellar regularly. The other one is Interstellar IMAX. And the third choice is watching it projected on film. Now that's super rare if you don't know that already. Most theaters in the country have converted to digital. So not only is shooting on film now really expensive, it's super expensive to actually put a movie on film, because what you do is even if you shoot on film, right now you make everything digital to edit it, and then if you want to go back to film, you have to literally go back to film. So that's a really expensive process, and then there aren't that many theaters that can project that anymore. But apparently Christopher Nolan's budget is so large that they can do that on 70mm film, not even 35mm film, 70mm film, from the research I did at least. That's what I heard. And I assume it's going to look amazing, so I'm going to try to convince my boyfriend to go to that one with me tomorrow. And you should too. The other thing I just want to mention is something that I'm using every single day now, and I feel like everybody should know about it because it shortens the time it takes me to decide on what I'm watching and then finding it and going and watching it, especially at home. It's called fan.tv. It's basically a website that's the address, fan.tv, and then there's also a mobile app for it where you can go to the site or the app, type in the name of a show or a movie. You can probably search in other ways too, like by genre or something. And then it tells you all of the places where you can watch that movie or television show. Like Amazon, Netflix, theaters, Vudu, whether you can rent it or buy it, get the Netflix DVD or stream. It tells you all of that all in one place. You can just say, oh, that's the most convenient way of doing it, and there's like a direct link for you to go and watch it that way. So I use that pretty much daily at this point. Okay, cool. into what my week was like since I talked to you guys last. This past week has been pretty much all about investors. Everything investing and pitching. So my dad and I stayed up really late a couple of nights working on our deck. And that can be a really strange process because you can work on something like that forever and try to perfect it. And so you've got the content and then you've got the design. So once you have all the content down, you have to go and get the design really perfected. And my dad and I are perfectionists and he's a designer, so he really wants to get that right. But then we say, oh, we want to go and change some of the content. So we go back and change the content and you have to change the design, of course. We did this a few times this week, but I think we ended up with a really good new pitch deck product that I just went over with a couple of mentors and a producer, one of my producers tonight, Greta, and we all feel pretty good about it. There's some challenges with finding investors. It takes a really long time. They say it's a numbers game. We haven't approached that many investors yet. And we are investing, just to be clear, we're asking for investment in the company versus the film, which is kind of unusual. So it's even more of a different process because we're not just talking to film investors. We're talking to tech investors and social entrepreneurship investors and regular startup investors as well. So you sort of have to navigate the pitch and make sure that it's speaking to all of those different groups. And it can get frustrating. We have meetings fall through sometimes, but we also just got 2 more meetings as well. So those will be happening next week. So cross your fingers. Cool. A challenge that I have been dealing with this week is the business and creative side of me. So we've got this company that we're starting, right? But I'm also the writer and director of our first film. And we haven't brought on other filmmakers yet, which we are working on. But right now, I'm the filmmaker, the main filmmaker in the company, because we only have one feature film that we're working on right now. Because you got to start small. We can't go too big, too fast. And making one movie is a handful in itself and involves a lot of people. But I've been wanting to do another rewrite on the script for Sweet Desert Palm. And I have a lot of ideas for what I want to do, and I keep taking down notes. But in order to really get into that world and do it justice, I have to sort of shut off the logistical business part of my brain. Not for a couple days, but for at least like a good chunk of major hours in a day. And I haven't had that time lately, and it's been kind of bothering me, and I have to find the time. So that's been something that's a little weird, and I wanted to submit to the screenwriting competition, but I don't really have the time to do the script justice in time for the competition's deadline because I'm so busy raising money. So that's an interesting challenge, but at the same time, I can't make the movie unless we have the money, and I know that that's a much longer process, so I'd rather sort of start that, get that going, and then return back to the script in a few weeks and really give it the justice it deserves and make sure that it's fun for me too, because I can't be pulling myself in too many directions. You know, multitasking can get a little bit hard to do one thing really. It can make it hard to do one thing really well, and I want to make sure that that happens with both sides of these. It also helps having great people help me with the business side, which is really needed right now. So thanks to my producers, my mentors, and my dad, who is my co-founder. So that was the challenge this week. The thing that I'm most excited about is our location. And I mentioned last week that I was like 99% sure that we were going to be able to shoot in Arizona outside of Tucson. And there's a palm tree oasis out there called Agua Caliente Park. And we just got another couple emails that said that it's even more certain that we might be able to shoot there. So my producer, Greta, and I are going to go out there in early December and do some scouting with a location scout who has sent us amazing photos, not only of the oasis, but also of different places around the oasis in the area where we can shoot, like Sienna's house and a bar and a motel and a gas station and a diner and just like a long 2-lane highway in the middle of the desert, that kind of stuff we also need, and a post office. And he sent photos of places in the area that he thinks might be good fits. And I got really excited when I saw them because it felt like just looking at them, those real life places, made it suddenly feel more real and made me more excited to like go back into the script and keep writing, that kind of thing. So I'm super stoked about that. And I feel like this location scout just he's adding this vision to the locations and the look and feel of them that I couldn't even have written, right? Because I didn't know what they were going to look like or what we were going to be able to get. So he's really adding some details there in my mind. So that'll help when I go back to start writing again. So yeah, that's week 3 in a nutshell. If you guys like watching and listening to this vlog every week, then subscribe at our YouTube channel and or go to xfactorfilm.com and sign up for our email newsletter. We curate stuff weekly to you guys, and from our site, we curate content daily. So keep returning there and you'll see cool stuff, behind the scenes stuff of what we're doing. And my interns and I also blog about other badass female entertainment stuff that's going on in the world that we want to share with you guys. So yeah, thanks a lot. Again, Lauren Tracy with X Factor Filmmakers, and you'll see me next week.